disgusted.
Some people say that it takes a violent protest to get people to listen. Do you agree, or should they remain peaceful?
I agree. I absolutely agree. You know, I'm a member of the LGBTQ community, and our liberation and our rights came after the Stonewall riots. That's something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, is that, you know, the LGBTQ movement started with Stonewall riots. I wouldn't even be able to be a student at this school if it wasn't for a violent riot that took place within a span of 3 days. So I absolutely agree that sometimes violent protests and really riots and those kinds of loud rebellions must take place for tangible change.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk about this person. This is a trans woman, a biological male who identifies as a woman and is a radical extremist trans person who now the FBI is looking into as part of the Charlie Kirk assassination. And here it comes. All these extremist. You know, what's so interesting to me is a lot of these are trans women. A lot of the extremists, and I would say the majority of them, tend to be trans women. Go figure. So with that, I'm not transphobic. I'm a realist, okay? And I'm going to just go all out today because I'm so disgusted that the trans ideology is attached to the Charlie Kirk assassination. I knew it. And here it comes, more and more and more. So I'm going to try to be chill and pretty focused today, but I hope my anger doesn't show. Sometimes I laugh when I'm really angry, so I don't get really angry. But I'm just fed up. I've been fed up for a long time. But if you're new to this channel, I do appreciate you. And I appreciate all my regular subscribers. I appreciate you all, actually, for seeing what I'm trying to do here, along with some of us other transsexuals who know who we are and what we do and want to coexist in the world and blah, blah, blah. But that's not really the reason I'm here today. I'm here today to show you what this trans ideological extremist space, liberals, okay, or left, or it has become insane. They have become terrorists and they have become extremists. And so I went down a deep, dark rabbit hole with this one. So her name is Heria, and I'm going to say her just for the video. And I don't know if YouTube is going to get mad at me if I call them a he. And I'm just so tired of all that nonsense. So because I don't want this video to get taken down, even though you know it's going to get reported by the extremists. It's going to get reported by the trans ideological queer nonsense space, whatever. I'm going to try to stay on track here, but you and I both know what I mean when I say trans woman, okay? This is a biological male. So Heria is somebody who's a full-on extremist, and today they're going to get exposed, and I'm so happy that I found all of this stuff to show you all. So thanks again. I do appreciate you all. Really, I do. I hope you feel it from me. So let me bring up this next one that I found, which I think is really... It's just going to kind of put everything in a perspective, and then we can move forward from that. But I think this is a great video.
There was a Discord group chat in which Tyler Robinson admitted guilt for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And Kash Patel told the United States Congress that there were at least 20 other people in that Discord group chat with Tyler Robinson. That means at least 20 other people in that Discord chat knew in the immediate aftermath, at the very least, what Tyler Robinson had done. And of course, the question is raised, did they know ahead of time? Did they aid and abet Tyler Robinson? Did he have any accomplices? At the same time, there's another group in Utah called Armed Queers Salt Lake City. This was reported on by the New York Post. They are a group of LGBTQIA identifying people, and the purpose of this group, and this is a quote, is to train gay, queer, and transgender people to arm themselves and fight against capitalism and the American system. This group, in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, scrubbed their online presence. They deleted their Instagram account, and according to the New York Post, the FBI is investigating whether they had any foreknowledge or any association with Charlie Kirk's assassination. At the same...
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there because that's a lot of information, and it gets even more insane. So what is it called? What is it called? Armed Queer Salt Lake City, okay, right there, okay? They're all about being armed. I thought those are the people who are anti-gun. Wait a minute here, and I'm going to read some stuff to show you how they're all cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs again, because they're, first of all, we're anti-gun and violence, and they're creating so much. They're the ones who are creating the violence. Actual real gun responsible owners don't do this nonsense, okay? So, I'm going to get myself so riled up right now because I just can't even believe this. So this fucking wingnut, Urmaya, who is, I don't care if they're Iranian born or whatever, their family migrated over here. I'm all about immigrants. If you do it legally and you're on, I have a ton of, anyway, that's over there. But I do believe in immigration. It's important. We bring people here. You got to do it legal, all that. Supposedly they came over here legally. But she is an Iranian born transgender woman activist, which is not an activist. It's an extremist anti-American. They're anti-America. So started this crazy queer group to like do weird shit. Now, I said before, I don't believe the shooter was doing it alone. I just don't. And I think more and more information is coming out daily. My head explodes. I can't even keep sort of on track because every day something new comes out. So this one really caught my eye because I want to really stay on the trans part of this whole shooting because I do believe that it is related to these trans extremists, these nutcases. And so with that, they started this organization and somehow they're connected. Now the FBI is checking them out because they're connected. The video that I played in the beginning where this person was talking about how queers come from, you know, riots and da-da-da and stuff, and actually has the fucking audacity to talk about Stonewall. They're the ones who lie that trans women started Stonewall when it's a complete total lie, a complete co-opting of the history of the LGBT movement. The T came along later, okay, just so you know, because I was part of the LGB movement. But these are the same wingnuts who keep trying to redo our whole history. So now they're creating this like completely, totally extremist queer group in Salt Lake City. Listen to this.
At the same time, Data Republican published a thread on X saying that this group, Armed Queers Salt Lake City, is not only an independent group, this group has actually gotten money and support from the United States government, from the State Department, and from the UN. The leader of Armed Queers, SLC, her name is Heria Fannion, was recognized by a State Department affiliated NGO called Utah Global Diplomacy as a recipient for the 7 for 17 award for advancing the UN's 17 sustainability goals. On top of that, in May of 2025, this group, Armed Queers SLC, they took a trip to the communist nation of Cuba. This trip was organized through a group called the National Network on Cuba, which is both linked to the communist government in Cuba, also has ties to U.S. non-governmental organizations. Many of these U.S. NGOs who are members of the National Network on Cuba are also NGOs linked to Neville Roy Singham NGOs. You cannot make this up.
You can't make it up. It's actually insane. That was Biden's administration literally being all woke and liberal. We need to help these trans queer people become, and then what they're doing behind, they're using I've been saying it, they're using the trans queer LGBTQIA poo-poo for a shield so that they can do all this insane shit behind our backs and go against our government. These people are they're anti-USA. You can be against the government. You can not agree with that, but you cannot be, and that's part of being in this country. You're allowed to have different agreement and understand. That's why we have different parties, but you can't go against our system here and try to indoctrinate what you have indoctrinated so many of the youth to be communist. Like, our country is not a communist country. And if you want to live in a communist country, go to fucking Cuba and live. Bye. See you later, alligator. But many of us here actually enjoy capitalism. We actually enjoy having the freedom to do what we need to do to create our own money, our own jobs, or you have many opportunities in this country that you do not. And I actually learned this as an an older person. As a young person, I could have seen myself getting caught up in this insane rhetoric, okay? And then they turn around and like call us all fascists. They don't even know what that even means, okay? These people are putting out Marxism, fascism. They're like putting it all out there, and like they're gaslighting. It's just full on gaslight. But can you even believe these people were totally sponsored by NGOs and like went to Cuba to study? They should have just left them there. Oh man. So I wanted to bring up this part from as they this person totally referenced the New York Post. So it's a really great article that I'll link, but it talks about this Heria person, founder of the Armed Queer, just the name, Armed Queer Group, investigated in Charlie Kirk shooting, is radical trans leftists who advocated for violence. So these are the people that supposedly are all about like love is love and stop, and trans people are being hurt and everyone hates us. They're the ones who are creating the hate. I've never felt hated as a trans person until you people came along and created everybody to hate us. No wonder they hate trans people. No, what? I don't blame you. Any of you out there who are just over the trend, I don't blame you. I really don't. I'm going over here so that I don't have to deal with all that nonsense. But when this is what trans is, which is not what trans is, by the way, no wonder you all hate trans people. So I just want to scroll down to this one part that I think is really an important part that I wanted to read here. In 2022, Fannion, I might be pronouncing their name wrong, okay, but who cares? I'm just going to say, was given a 7 for 17 award for gender equality. See, there it is. By the Utah Global Diplomacy, a nonprofit that worked in the State Department to promote citizen diplomacy and international exchange in Utah. There it is. In our government, funding these people who hate our country. And then this is the trans woman also joined then presidential candidate Senator Elizabeth Warren on stage during an April 2019 campaign event in Salt Lake City. So there you go. And guess what happened? A Warren spokesperson didn't respond to a request for comment Wednesday. Mud in your face. Oh my God. Okay. So in 2020, the trans woman who's 25 years old started the Salt Lake City chapter of Pink Pistols, a national organization whose mission is to arm LGBTQ people. Okay. Utah's Cure wrote that year in a puff piece with her involvement. I used to think that guns were a scary thing, Fannion told the outlet. Back then, I would have agreed with Joe Biden's to take everyone's AR-15, and now I own one. Isn't that interesting? This is these are the Democrats who are full-on anti-gun, yet now this person who is sitting there with a Democrat on stage, okay, is now pro-arming LGBTQ people, okay, to shoot Charlie Kirk, to shoot anyone who they feel threatened by. This is actual madness, you guys. It's madness. Okay, so there's this one part here that I think is very, very important. Fannion also helped launch a student study group for the Party of Socialism and Liberation, PSL, with a curriculum that includes names like Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin. Heria's inspiration to form the group came from historical communist socialist revolutionaries of the mid-1900s, including Castro and the Black Panther Party, according to the university students' newspaper. Okay, and you can study whatever you want. That's freedom. What you can't do is come after our freedom here. The Party of Socialism and Liberation is not a liberal movement. Hear that. This is Heria telling you this. The Party of Socialism and Liberation is not a liberal movement. We are a leftist movement. Okay, Irmaya told the outlet, we are an anti-capitalist movement. We are a working class revolutionary movement. So see, they want to dismantle capitalism. They want to dismantle the system in this country. Remember where this person comes from. This is a transgender woman, a biological man who's angry at the world and wants to kill everybody because they've armed queer resistance. What are you talking about? Try living 20 years ago, okay? That's when we really needed a fight. We're good. But we're not good now because wingnuts like you. The armed queer SLC founder is described as a trans liberation and feminist political organization whose work has included organizing around abortion struggle, working with the ACLU to secure the rights of trans youth, of course, in the educational system, organizing to criminalize conversion therapy in the state of, just so you know, when they say conversion therapy, they're talking about when we talk about that there's no such thing as trans kids, okay? Not trying to talk a gay person out of being gay, but trying to tell children that they're not trans. That's what they think conversion therapy is, okay? Working on electoral campaigns and creating research study that conditions of gender oppressed people at the hands of state institutions. What? Blah, blah, blah. So now I want to show you this clip that I found that is going to blow your mind, because this is the organization that creates these kind of people.
Between the two, having experienced both, I'm very much like, you know what? The surgical one was pretty big, girl. I did it without the anesthesia. Well, the local anesthesia. I didn't go under. Like, I stayed awake. I wanted the whole experience of it. I'm like, I want to look into your face when you're sucking that out of my body.
That's fucking kind of hot.
Why
is
like
that hot?
While I'm like up in freaking stirrups and I'm just like 21 and just like,
But you looked really good where they pulled that dead baby out of it.
Yeah, you know,
This could be a fetish. Wait a minute.
vacuum the whole thing out.
Wait a minute.
Does abortion spa also have an OnlyFans?
OnlyFans abortions to help women pay for their fucking abortions. If people are into that, there's a fetish for that, to watch bloody fucking guts come out of a... Somebody is into that.
Is this how we make abortions okay in capitalism?
Is it?
Is
Because
like, we've got to find a way to not only, you know, the doctors are getting paid and it's safe and that, yes. But also, let's feed it back into the machine and like get the OnlyFans going.
OnlyFans paying the insurance companies. You know that there's somebody that would fucking watching a fucking dead baby come out of it.
The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm really looking forward to Porn 30 today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't have any abortions. I'm so sorry. We need to create an animated like fetish subgenre of like abortion.
Thinking of it, there's got to already be a...
Well, it's probably on like the deep web. I have to go like looking on Tor for it.
I almost will guarantee you, these are the kind of people that would belong to Armed Queers SLC. I was shocked when I saw that. Even if they are kidding, what? Why would you even say that publicly? Though in my heart, I believe these are not kidding. They're not. They would do it in a heartbeat if they could. They are literally talking about abortions, okay? Whatever you believe about abortion, what these people just said is sick, demented, demonic, psychotic, sociopathic, and so many other things that I just cannot. This is why I have removed myself far away from these people. They have gone off the deep end. They're psychopaths. They are total psychopaths. That one just, my stomach, I think I'll put a disclaimer before I run that one because you might freak out. I don't blame you. Okay, so I want to show you this. So this just came out.
Charlie's killer lives with a guy who's transgender. The Annunciation shooter was transgender. The Covenant shooter was transgender. Should the FBI be investigating transgender extremism?
You know, we're looking at that, and it seems like, is that just a, what's the reason for it? Yeah, there seems to be something, but we're looking at it very strongly. Something seems to be going on, but you can't make that statement yet. We're looking at it very closely.
Okay, so here you go. So now all you crybaby motherfucking trans activists and fuckwads, you brought this on yourself. Now they're going to look at you. They are going to look at you, not me. I'm not part of it. I've already, you can see all my public stuff. I have disconnected. I left the cult a long time ago. They're going to look at all you for supporting armed queer SLC and anti-American rhetoric because LGBTQIA people are under attack. Bullshit. You guys created this whole fucking mess, and it's crazy people like this Ermaya nut. Also, the other thing I wanted to say, because there's just so much information here, they wiped the internet of all of their stuff. If they're so badass, if they're so badass and they're so anti-government and anti-everything, even though all these NGOs were sponsoring them and the government was handing them awards and they were standing on stage with government officials. It's like a movie. So that, you brought it all on yourself. They're coming hardcore after you. Hardcore. They're going to dismantle every disgusting thing you have done to children, to women, to people who are actually really transsexual and now going to lose their space because you wingnuts created some kind of extremist, crazy, anti-American organization called Trans Rights. Okay, this one I think is really fascinating. Listen to this.
So people are talking a lot about trans people and their relation to the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I know Trump is cracking down on these trans groups. For me personally, it has nothing to do with trans. Like, I don't care about that. People should do and be whatever they want to be. I'm not God or anything, so I can't tell you if it's right or wrong. But I do care about power and corruption. That is what my whole laissez-faire lounge is about. And people in positions of power using these groups for their own ends. There's a trans woman from Iran, Heria Fannion, who's in a Discord group that's under scrutiny in the probe. But the real issue is she's funded by powerful NGOs and the State Department. I think they've scrubbed her bio now after the ties came to light. She's deeply rooted in Utah, where she grew up after immigrating as a kid, attended the Salt Lake City School for Performing Arts, attended University of Utah, worked as a sociopolitical organizer for the Utah Pride Center and ACLU of Utah on trans rights and abortion issues, co-founded the local March for Our Lives chapter as a high schooler pushing gun control, relaunched the Salt Lake City Pink Pistols for LGBTQ self-defense before splitting to start her armed group, Armed Queers Salt Lake City, a queer and trans-led Marxist-Leninist collective promoting armed resistance against capitalism and state violence, and even got honored by a state-backed Utah NGO for her activism there.
Wow. That was such a great video because there it all is right there. Remember, first they were championing against guns and for gun control, and then started armed queers and is walking around with a big shotgun and an AK-47 and all kinds of shit and encouraging. I will not doubt it, in my opinion, that this person is connected to what happened to Charlie Kirk. In my opinion, that's all I'm going to say. In my opinion, I wouldn't doubt it. Okay. So the story keeps getting deeper and deeper and more connected to these nutcase trans people who think they're going to get away. They've been doing this stuff. We've all just been gaslit and we've all been told that we have to let the trans people be. They're a marginalized community. Leave them alone. And because of that, it was all a master plan. And because of that, now they created these extremists. They're also connected to Antifa. That's a terrorist group. I don't care what you say. Antifa is a terrorist group. Okay? It's different to say I'm anti-government. I don't believe in this president or that, and I want to change the laws. Become a politician then if you want to change shit. That's what we do here. Get voted in. Do those things. But to actually come and have extreme ways with guns and killing people because you want to shut people down, I'm just like, how did trans get this? How? And it really comes down to the fact that we were all gaslit, and even including transsexual people like myself. They tried to kick me out of the community a long time ago. I left, but they tried to shut me down a long time ago. They tried to shut Blair down. They tried to shut Marcus. They tried to shut all of us down constantly. That should tell you something. It is not what I am. They have become extremists. They have become a cult-like community. They have become Marxist, Lenin, communist, anti-government, but the same time they're anti-government, the government is sponsoring them. The whole thing is like, I mean, they're going to make a movie out of this one day. They just are. It's just so insane. I don't know if you could actually write it. So I hope I didn't get too crazy today. I'm just so fed up with this whole thing, and I'm so disgusted that here we are, and it all came back to trans. It all came back to trans. And I think 2 or 3 videos before this, when I said to you, I showed you someone who was in the trans community saying, they're going to try to blame this on trans people. Why do you think they were going to try to blame it on trans people? Well, there you go. There you go. So again, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm sending a lot of love to Charlie Kirk's family. I am just mortified that our country has turned into something like this. I am disgusted that this is transgender. I am appalled that I'm connected to trans on some level. If I ever knew that what I did early on in my life was going to affect the world like this, I would have never done the activism I did. But that being said, now I can do this activism and hopefully help to change things to get back to a healthy, normal space, especially for the youth. Hey, everybody, I caught myself another one. So this is going to be a quite interesting conversation, as they all are. And I just want to, again, tell you, everyone here, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for helping me bring these people on so we can start to get a better conversation going around the insanity that's happening not only in the trans community, but pretty much everywhere these days. So I'm all about conversation. So I have this lovely, lovely human being who reached out to me on X, formerly known as Twitter. And she has a story she really, really wants to share with all of us today. So hi, Claudia. Thank you so much for joining me.
It's my pleasure, Buck.
Thank you.
Delighted.
So great. So why don't you just introduce yourself to the people out there, and we can move forward in our conversation. Tell us who you are and what conversation you want to have today.
Okay. My name is Claudia McLean. I was born in Scotland in 1957, so I'm real old, one of the oldest in captivity, all right?
Brilliant.
And my story is this. I lived a life filled with violence from the very beginning until I was 18 years old, because you see, I looked like a little girl, and I lived in the roughest section of Glasgow. So I faced mob violence. I'm talking about 1,500 against one terrified child. Well, that went, oh yeah. That went on. I was hated. That went on and until I was 18 years old. By chance, at an inter-university dance, I met the most beautiful man. He looked just like Jesus, who had come down from the cross. His name was Richard. And he rescued me from that terrible place. And we built our lives together. We had 13 wonderful years. But Richard wasn't gay. He fell in love with me. In fact, he was with a woman when I met him, even though he went home with me. The problem that I had was that he insisted, by the age I was 25, by the way, we had a really successful business and career. I sang all over Europe, all over here. And it was a really thriving life. It was lovely. And then I was 25, and he said to me, because he would have affairs with women, which would terrify me, and he would threaten me that I would lose him to one of these women. So at age 25, I still didn't look male. Okay. This is the face I was born with, right? Okay. Great. And he said, if you change, I'll marry you. There'll be no other women, because you're the one. We've made our life together. Well, I never believed I was a girl. I knew that I was a boy who was total crap about being a boy. I was terrible at it. All my emotional responses seemed to be in the wrong place. That allied to what I looked like, and it took a year for him to convince me. So at the age of 26, this wonderful man and I had what they called gender reassignment surgery in England in those days. We had to move from Scotland to England in order to do this. And we had a wonderful year afterwards, and then he abandoned me. And I was only 1 year old, if you see what I mean. And I had if I wasn't Richard's wife, who the hell was I? I see the young I'm really, you know, he would say to me afterwards, "Have you forgiven me?" I said, "Well, I understand that people can stop loving each other, but that didn't happen to me, right?" But
Yeah.
I cannot forgive him for my body being diced and spliced, losing complete human fulfillment, losing that joy. Nothing ever. What I'm left with now is 1/1,000,000th part of what I knew as human satisfaction as a boy. So we split up. I come from an Irish Catholic family, and I gave away all my coloured clothes, and I've never worn colour since. I live in mourning. I'm not only mourning that lost relationship, I'm mourning the loss of my body. That's what he did. I cannot comprehend. And he really loved me. I watched him tear his heart out of his chest to leave me, but leave me he did. And guess what?
Wow.
The moment I wasn't Richard's wife, all that violence came back. All of it. I took a job in London's biggest nightclub called the Hippodrome for a famous club owner called Peter Stringfellow.
Yep.
I started as a humble waitress, whereas before, for 3 years, I had been the resident prima donna because I sing operatic music at the same pitch as a woman, right?
Wow.
So I went from being the star of the show to the lowest waitress. I was often attacked at work because the girl waitresses hated me. And they would tell my customers at the end of the night that I used to be a boy. And I got beat up so many different times in 2 years.
What year was that? That was
well, I had the surgery in. Oh no, what year did I start working for Mr. Stringfellow as a waitress? It would be 1987.
Okay, and you had your transition. Do you remember what year your transition surgery was?
Yes, I can tell you the exact date. The 25th of March, 1986.
Wow. Okay.
After only one consultation with the psychiatrist, who said to me in the hour that we spent together that I would be one of the most successful because of what I looked like.
Yeah.
But you see, what I look like and what I am are two completely different things. There it is.
I hear you.
And he actually was disciplined. I led, with Julie Bindle, and Harriet Wistrich, I led a complaint against him at the GMC, and he was no longer there.
Wow.
And I was in litigation for years for him to do it, to get rid of him. And this didn't happen until what I'm telling you about the violence at work.
Yeah.
It got to such a stage that one night a guy who was torturing another trans waitress, we were there because we were different. We weren't there because they thought that we were such women, right? You've got to be real.
That's right.
And this guy was torturing this other girl, God help her. And I said to the boy, "Hey, we're all here to have fun, right?" I said, and it's a great place. So he attacked me viciously. I was beaten up. I went downstairs and pulled myself together, went back upstairs and tried to work. He managed to be to get through security wearing different clothes, and he came back with a vengeance. The attack in the end ended with him who does this? What I'm going to tell you. He had in his hand a tear gas canister. Oh my God. I instantly knew, I mean, I was badly beaten up and bleeding and God knows what. But I instantly knew that this was bad news. So I managed to spring backwards. This tear gas only touched me across here. And it was like you were being burned alive.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, my security detail who came to save me, all of those boys got it in the face. And there was one Italian boy, he clawed at his eyes until they bled, by which point I was hysterical. Because I couldn't, first of all, who would bear such ill will to me? And also without even considering the other people. And imagine letting off a tear gas canister in an enclosed space. So great was the confusion that he escaped. At this point, my temper took me. I told Mr. Stringfellow's nephew, if you don't tell him to give me the host job, which was up for offer, I said I'd go to the newspapers and I'll expose it all.
Wow.
So within 1 year, I went from the lowest waitress to the highest paid executive in his company.
Excellent job.
But all the while, Richard was in my life. You see, although we had stopped living together, we were still lovers. And that lovemaking became a life raft for me. And that's all I had that could keep me going. You see, Buck, he was my whole life. Sure. I was left with less than nothing. Wow. But 2 years after we split in 87, and at my birthday in November in 89, while in bed with me and aroused, he told me that he could never touch me again. And my world fell apart.
Oh.
And by the January, I was with my mother in Glasgow, and she just was in despair. She said she'd never seen the loss of a spouse affect anyone so badly. All these years later, I'm trying to talk to you and not cry.
I know, I feel it. I feel it. I want to cry. I want to cry because it's so devastating. Can I just ask you this? Why do you think he left you after? It seems like he left you after you decided to transition. He's not gay. You told me he wasn't gay.
He's not gay. No.
Yet
he had found another woman. And for the 2 years, he went between us both until that last terrible night. I was destroyed. So back to Glasgow and heartbroken. And 5 months in, my mother had a stroke. And before I knew where I was, the heartbroken widow was actually having to care for my own mother because my mum told me that they weren't treating her right in the stroke unit, right? So I had her legally released into my care, and I was responsible for her. That took up the next 12 years of my life.
Oh, wow.
I was unemployable. I didn't care if I lived or died. I would have taken any drug, any drink, anything for oblivion. And all the while I nursed my mother, I wept all through the whole thing.
Oh, so sad.
So that's what happened to me.
Wow.
What bothers me for the young people is they don't know what they're getting into. And in some horrible way, they seem to think it's fashionable.
I know.
This is no reason for anyone to change.
God,
No, and I should never have been allowed to change to facilitate a relationship. So that's why I feel so strongly for the young people. I hear them on the things that I see on X, and I'm absolutely horrified by some of the things I'm hearing and the amount of acceptance that they seem to need to demand.
That's right.
You know, if I had stayed in Scotland, I would never have been able to walk away from who I used to be because I was quite famous because I sing, right?
Okay.
And so I opted for exile from my homeland to live in London and to do this thing. And it meant, and this is what those going into it don't realize.
Yeah.
Even if you stop your hormones, all of that, you can never recover who you used to be mentally.
That's right. Great point.
Never.
That's what kids need to hear. They don't understand.
And every one of the detransitioners, every single one of them, once they stop and everything, they cannot go back to who they were. No. I have a rich inner life.
Yes.
I sing in 5 languages.
Wow.
Right? I'm a great one for a good book. I love history.
I know.
That's all of that, right?
Yeah.
But my God, those poor children. And
Oh
when
my
it comes to child transition, this is an abomination.
Abomination.
No child can give informed consent. No child can. And the parents who do it for them, they should, I can foresee many broken families, and also maybe a child will hear, if it's a male to female, they'll hear girl, but you don't become a girl. You become this. There it
Thank you.
is.
That's what every young person needs to hear from you, who is an elder of the community. You transitioned before me, and also before all these people even knew what trans was. This is so. I just want to, Claudia. I have to first off thank you for stepping up and having this conversation with me, because I can't imagine the things you're seeing. The things I see, it freaks me out. It must freak you out even beyond, but they need to hear from somebody like you who's lived this long life. What you're saying is the reality of transition. They're not getting this information at all.
They're not. And
No.
not only, and actually, in this country, in the UK, it can be done on the health service, right? That means public money. If I had, I paid for everything. The reason being, I realized from the beginning, what if I go through this and it doesn't somehow work for me? And my conscience would have killed me that I had used public money. I wouldn't be alive today, Buck, if I hadn't done it, what I did with my own money.
Yeah.
And without Richard, the change was meaningless.
So let me ask you that. Do you somehow feel like you needed to transition also because of Richard?
He was the reason. He demanded it of me.
He demanded
either that, or
it.
he would. Oh yeah, and when it came to the crunch, I said to him, "Look, I don't really have to do this. We've got the money's not a problem."
Sure.
I said, "I don't really have to do this." And his answer to me 7 days before surgery was, "You ready?
Yeah.
If you don't do it, I'll leave. If you do it, I might stay."
Ew, actually gross. Like, what? That's manipulative on so many levels, and you're in a very vulnerable space. And then the doctor didn't even give you therapy. They just did it. And can I ask you, I mean, I'm kind of getting this feeling from you that you might not have done it if maybe Richard.
No, because actually I was very good at living as a girl. Look at me, Bob.
Without the transition, you could have totally lived as a
girl.
That's right.
Of course. And maintained my career. All of those things.
Yeah.
Instead, I lost the world. Those poor children. My God. I foresee I foresee so much unhappiness.
I know.
Even.
I know.
You know? And we know what the cost of transition is because we've both gone through it. That's why I needed to talk to you, because we're actually kind of in the same place, although we're very different people, right?
Yeah.
And I so admire what you do for the young ones, and how that what you say after the interviews is always insightful and always fair.
Thank you.
You cannot expect the world to accept what you've done. As I say, I chose exile, so I never have to. I never have to face my former self.
Yes.
But these days, people want to do it on their holidays and go back to work as a different person. No. Can you imagine?
No.
And then they get all worked up when they don't get the acceptance they want.
That's right.
They're asking for too much, Buck.
Too much. I know. Me and you both know that it's not going to ever happen. Me and Claudia and I have been doing this for a long time. We understand how to navigate the world. The world isn't going to accept you unless you first off accept yourself, which we have, and we know exactly who and what we are. Then there's going to be people in the world who will always dislike you, who will also possibly maybe like you. But if you are only traveling the world for some type of acceptance, you're never going to get it. This isn't about that. This is about how do you figure out how you need to walk the world in order for you to be a productive person, part of society. That's what transitioning is all about. It's not getting accolades from the world. It's about, that's the reason. I mean, God, we both transitioned before social media. Thank God.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Thank God. These kids are being completely lied to. They're being completely told something that isn't true. They're being manipulated by adults. This is the part that I'm so shocked that the trans, it's not a community, Claudia. It's something
It never
else.
was. It's called a scene. Also, yeah, and I must make this point. The ones who are with women and they want to change and call themselves Louise and stay with the wife and children.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate coercive control of a woman and her children. Imagine doing that.
No.
Imagine.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
No, it's not. You have to take responsibility for yourself. Actually, I'm really lucky. I go around unnoticed, and look at me. I'll be 66 in a few days, right?
Wow, you look amazing. Oh, wow.
And
wow.
This is the face I was born with.
It's amazing. You look amazing. I know. You're beautiful. You're really beautiful.
I look like my mother, thank God. Eh?
Those Scottish roots.
Yes.
Right on. My grandfather is Scottish. That's so awesome. Wow, what a story, Claudia. So I'm so weirded out by Richard sort of because Richard wasn't gay, but he was attracted to you because your feminine self. You have this feminine energy, and then he just couldn't be with a guy, so he sort of said to you, you need to do this, and you do it, and then eventually he leaves you for another woman who's a biological woman, right? Not a trans woman. But did you ever live as a trans woman, or you just lived as a person? Did you walk? I mean, you didn't walk around saying I'm a trans woman, did you?
No, and also I've stopped using that terminology. I will not appropriate the word woman, for I am not one.
Right
I'm a transsexual.
Excellent. I love you even more. Me too. I'm a biological female. I just look this way so that people won't see me as a woman.
But Buck, who would ever know to look at you?
Well, that's the point. Thank you. We're both in the same space.
Same boat. Exactly.
That's right.
I'm so glad that I'm making some sense for you, darling.
Oh my God. Everything you're saying is so powerful. It's like, this is such a powerful message that everyone needs to hear. And it means a lot to me that you see me and that you contacted me and that you're willing to have, not an easy conversation at all. This is like so devastating what happened to you. And then being with your mother for how many years did you take care of your mom? A long time.
I nursed her for 12 years with my own hands. And when Richard's mother fell ill, she was much older than my mother, by the way.
Okay.
When Richard's mother fell ill, I nursed her for 5 years.
Wow. Is Richard still in your life?
No.
No. You just had to disconnect from him?
No. He just had to disconnect from me.
And he's never spoken to you again?
It's like he died.
Oh,
and
God, and
how about I'm looking after his mother and he's not.
Wow. I mean, that just says a lot about you and him, to be honest with you. Wow.
I loved her so much. I loved her so much. Do you know something, Buck? I call my time with these women treasure, because it was such a great privilege to be able to look after them. Richard's mother died in my arms.
Wow.
It was the end of the world. Wow. The end of the world. Somehow. Go on.
Well, no, you were given that's a gift to take care of people like that, and you have it in your heart. I feel that from you. You're a caregiver. You care, and that's
can't stop myself.
Well, no, that's a special gift. That's a gift, friend, especially in this day and age when people seem only to care about themselves. But you don't care about yourself. That's why you're sitting with me, because because you transitioned such a long time ago. That this is what people don't understand. We have a different vantage point. We transitioned here. They're transitioning here. You would think that they would want to hear from us. So, Claudia, this is why I say there's some manipulation going on with these young people. There's also,
Absolutely.
it's very cult-like behavior. I don't want to say it's a cult, but it's cult-like behavior when they're, there's this behavioral control that they have over these young people, right? When they start calling me transphobic, young trans people call me transphobic. That's a bad sign right there. That says something is amiss in this scene.
And what I was saying about the ones who marry compared to the ones
Yes.
like me who was born to love men, right?
Yes. Yes.
These two groups do not mix well, ever.
That's
And
right.
guess who it is that got all the legislation for gender changing and everything in England?
That's right.
It was the ones who married and called themselves Louise and stayed with the children.
That's
Do you know what-
exactly
do you
who.
know? Do you know what I did? I had surgery. I had my year with Richard. We were lovers 2 years later until that terrible night. And then somehow or another, I just had to pick up the pieces and keep going. That's
Yeah,
it. I
that's
wouldn't
right.
wish what happened to me for anybody.
Do you think
Not
if
for
Richard,
anybody.
do you think if Richard didn't want you to transition, you wouldn't have transitioned? I think I asked you.
Of course not. I was. Do you know what I loved? Right, the singing. It was a female impersonation show that Richard manufactured. He heard me sing, and I went to a choir school, and I sang more or less every day in the church.
Mhm.
That gave me the foundations of technique to do what I did. So in those days, everything was cabaret. So he got this cabaret thing where I was never billed as drag or anything. I was a specialty singer. So I would sing as a woman. There's an upbeat number. It's a formula cabaret, right? So it's an upbeat walk on, and then comes the big ballad. Now, by the end of that, they're in tears because I act as I sing, right?
Wow.
So then, using a deeper voice, I could make them laugh, and that was what made me famous in Scotland. But of course, I thought because I never took my face off or whatever around the audiences, and I thought, oh, that would keep my anonymity. Do you know, by the age of 19, I couldn't go into a restaurant or a store without people saying, "Will you give me your autograph?" I was
Wow.
and also I was kind of freaked out. I'm thinking, I don't know these people. Am I signing a check? What the hell is this?
Hilarious. Wow. Are you still singing today?
Actually, I did. I'm very sick, darling. I have a spinal cord injury and heart and kidney disease. And each day I wake up, I thank my God and think, what can I get up to today? So that's how
Beautiful.
it works.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Wait,
Don't
what's
be.
happening with your health? Like, do you think that this was related to hormonal usage or?
Well, I had surgery on my spine when I was 18 because
Okay.
a boy in school shoved his compass needles aiming for my ass, but actually he pierced the dura of my spine. I had to hide the wound from my very strict grandfather, and 3 years later, my grandmother and I were alone in the house. The rest of the family had gone to a holiday place, and we loved each other. We were really close, right? And my grandmother decided one day, I'll do a wee washing so that when I come home, my clothes would be done. Well, I came home that day. It was summer. Coming into spring, and I remember I had gotten her something to eat that she liked. And there she was in the hallway behind the front door with my underwear in her hands. And she said, "What is this?" And I said, "I can't tell you because you'll tell my grandfather. And if that happens, he'll give me hell." She said, "Okay." And she closed the front door and locked it. She said, "You don't leave this house until I see what's going on."
Wow.
I said, "I can't show you. I can't. It's not in a good place, Nana."
Right.
Well, she said, "I've seen your bare ass when you were a baby. It can't be much different now." The abscess, what started as a pinprick, had formed an abscess that I could place 2 fingers inside. And it would kind of seal over, but maybe a jolt in a bus or something like that would open it up. And that was the mess on my underwear. And the night I met Richard, I told him that I had delayed the surgery for it until after my finals at the college, right? And actually, that's when Richard showed his hand, right?
Yeah.
The reason being, he saw that I was being abused in the hospital by the staff. I woke up from the anesthetic in a male ward, looking like this.
Oh my God.
And the staff were saying one to the other as I woke up, "What the hell is it?" So and when I told them they were being cruel to me, well, by that point, I met him in Valentine's night, and this is in May. And he gave me a ring, and he told me I was his and his alone. I would never know another man.
Wow.
And he rescued me.
Wow.
That's why I love him so much.
Right. I hear that. And I think that, you know, Richard clearly has struggled with some of his own stuff. So it's not necessarily all about the situation with you. So yeah, I think that most important for me is that you were happy. Whatever amount of time you had to, I have a fly, whatever amount of time you had with him, it feels to me like it was a positive, great time for you and that you valued it.
10 times more than you could expect.
That's all that matters.
That is, unfortunately, I was never loved since. So I've
breaking
lived
my heart.
I lived for 40 years as his widow. Sex, sure, but love, never.
Different, totally different. Yeah, completely.
And what I say to the young ones is, that's what your life will be. Oh, you'll get so much sex, just don't tell anybody. That's how it works.
That's right. They don't get it because now everything is on the internet. Woo, trans joy, trans this, trans. It's false. It's false, false, false because we're not trans. We have a medical condition called gender dysphoria that we fixed using medical. We live as men and women, blah, blah, blah. We're not, this is I see the manipulation, Claudia. I see it all. I see how they're using words to make this look fun and that you're going to have an amazing, what happens in 5 years when there's no more TikTok or X or a trans, what do you think is going to happen to all these trans kids?
What I foresee many suicides. I foresee many broken lives, and I think that not many will survive mentally very well. Yeah, that's the most important part too, isn't it?
I agree with you, and and as you know, today all we talk about is trans kids will kill themselves if they don't transition, and I'm like, you know, it's the opposite. Just so you know, you are bringing these kids into a space of dysphoria. These kids don't have dysphoria; they're creating dysphoria for these kids, so it's false. And then when they realize they don't have, I mean, you know, I interview a lot of detransitioners, and they all have this one common thread that I've noticed myself through all of the stories of why they thought they were trans and why they went through that and then why they realized it was because they did not have mental health care. They just were immediately affirmed that they were trans. That was it. And they're not.
No. Do you know Scott Nugent, whom Scott and I are both, we found ourselves on Twitter as it was. I was doing this in England saying, for God's sake, stop hurting the children. Yeah. And of course, Scott and I buddied up. I'm not sure he's talking to me at the moment because he asked me for some words at a meeting, but I had been hospitalized. So I wasn't able to. But I love Scott Nugent and I admire his passion.
Me too.
And he's done more good for trans children, I think, than anyone in this world.
That's right. 100%. He's my brother. I totally back that guy. He's stepping up, which is only thing I ask of this community is step up. We have something very bad going on here. And if you actually care about the trans community, you will step up and be honest. Scott's being honest. That penis surgery he got destroyed his life. And we're doing that to young people. Me and him have proof. I almost died from vaginal atrophy because nobody told me the hormones were going to destroy my body. And I'm telling the young kids this and they're laughing at me and Scott like we're trying to do something bad. That's where I know, Claudia, that I keep saying it's cult-like because why would you laugh at us?
I mean, do you know something? I think it's willful ignorance, actually.
There you go.
It really is.
It is.
And about my health as far as transing is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I already had an injury,
Okay.
but I developed degenerative spinal disc disease.
Oh no, no.
And it's gotten so bad that I can't sit upright for more than 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
I'm actually speaking to you from my bed, darling. We're being very intimate.
You look gorgeous. Well, you look gorgeous. That's all that matters.
Thank you so much.
You're a beautiful woman. Seriously, you are. You look great, and I know that that's just a thing. But you look amazing, and I'm so sorry. Your health. Do you think that health degenerate?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's from the hormones, don't you think?
Absolutely, yeah,
Absolutely.
And also, I carry the same infection that Scott Nugent does.
What? Wait, I'm sorry if this is too personal, but did you also have bottom surgery?
Of course I did. That's why that's what Richard wanted me to do. I had bottom surgery before I had my bosom in half.
Wow.
Right.
Was that the doctor who just sort of pushed you through, or was that a different? Wow.
You look great. Yeah.
Wow. So you had it way back in the day. So
the 25th of March, 1986.
And so tell me, have you had complications with it, or was it just?
Yes. Oh, yes. Terrible problems inside.
Oh.
I can't say any more than that, darling.
That's okay. That's okay. I respect that. That's why I asked if it was too personal. But I think, thank you for being honest about that.
Oh, yeah. And my spinal cord injury, which worsened in 2007, means that I lost the ability to pass water. This condition is called cauda equina. So I'm sitting on my hoo-ha that won't fuck and it won't pee.
Oh my God. What?
And the children don't know these things.
They don't know because the transgender community hides all this shit, because the people who are running this community, Claudia, aren't me and you. They're the people who are men changing to women and staying married to their wives and forcing their wives to accept them as women and having children. They're selfish. Those are the... Now, I have no issue with somebody being AGP, or I don't have any issue with any of that. They're just not transsexual. They're fetishizing women, and then they're bringing it over into this trans space, and they're the ones blocking me and you from having these actual real conversations that me and you actually have lived longer than all of those people as trans people. You would think that they would want to hear from us or your story. You would think that.
Well, Julie Bindel approached me in June and asked if I could talk to her because of the problems with the psychiatrist I told you about.
Yeah.
So from 2003 until 2007, Julie wrote a series of articles outlining what had happened to me and its consequences. Oh. And Julie and Harriet, her wife, is a wonderful woman. Harriet is one of the greatest civil rights lawyers in Britain. Yeah. And they turned a victim not only into a survivor, but a warrior.
Wow.
Either that or I couldn't do this.
That's right. That's right. You are. You're 100% that, my friend. I love Julie. A lot of people will be like, I can't believe you're talking to Julie. She respects me. Like, I understand that she's not okay with my past life of pornography and all of that, but me and her created a relationship, and that's all I care about, because that's how me and you are going to be able to walk the world free. We don't have to walk. I always say we don't have to walk on the same side of the street, me and Julie. We can walk on the opposite sides and say hi to each other and keep going. That's what I'm trying to make happen here, is that people don't have to hate you and I for being transsexuals, but they do, because we have crazy people insisting they're trans when they're not. They're fetishizing this space, and they're misogynists who are misogynists towards the women out there. Well, and they're mean and nasty, and they don't care about having a healthy space. They care about dominating women, and I think many of them actually hate women so much that they want to be them.
Oh, I think that too. Have you noticed that the men who harass women at women's meetings, first of all, they're men.
That's
And
right.
what it's about is actually intimidating women. It's got
That's right.
nothing to do with anything else.
Nothing. Never has our community been so mean towards women, ever. Never did they want to redefine the word woman. Never did they ever. You just said it. You're like, I'm not going to disrespect women. I'm transsexual. You are what an actual transsexual male to female is somebody who respects women, understands that you're not a woman, that you come from a biological male space. It's so simple. And you have that energy. You have that beautiful old school trans woman energy that is respectful. You just want to be part of the world. You don't want to hurt anybody. That you are what I want to expose to the world. If we don't have more people like you standing up, we're going to lose our space, because women, I bet tons of women love you, Claudia, because you're such a beautiful soul. I can tell.
The women who know me love me,
That's
but
what I mean.
Unfortunately on X, I get it in the neck from women a lot.
Well, I get it too. Those are the people that they're just never going to like us. They think, well, because they think because of us that the kids are doing this. That's what they think. And
I didn't know that.
That's what they think. They think me and you, by putting ourselves out there, that we're encouraging children and young people to transition. When we're the opposite of that. We're actually saying, no, don't do it. But they don't see that. They see us as a sort of part of the problem. They don't see us as part of the solution, which we're part of the solution.
What we should be.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we are, Claudia. Yes.
That's clever what you just said. I hadn't thought about it before.
Yeah, and that's why they're making a mistake by hating us, because they don't realize that we're actually on, for lack of a better word, their side. I'm not taking sides, but I'm taking the side of reality, as you are.
Yes.
You're clearly based in reality. Look at you.
Yeah. I never thought for 1 minute I was a woman. I knew I was a boy who was crap at being a boy. And you know, when I got to 25 and I said to Richard, do you think I've stopped growing? And he said, sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
there. Okay.
It's okay. And my phone's going to die in a minute, so I can't stay with you very long.
Yeah, no, we'll just finish up. Yeah.
But listen, if you ever need me or want me, all you have to do is say.
I do.
Yeah.
I need you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, Claudia, anything you need from me, honestly, please reach out. I can help you in any way, shape, or form. I'm connected to lots of different kinds of people, as you are, I'm sure. But now we're connected. I just really, my heart swells for you.
Mine swells for you.
Is there anything you'd want to say before we leave here that you want to say to the world or to kids or to anybody? What would be your message?
For parents, please do not be deceived by this. It is done for profit, for what Scott calls big pharma. And what they are doing are butchering their children and turning them into patients for the rest of their lives. And I say to the parents, for God's sake, don't do it. And that's really the most important thing.
You are a beautiful human. You will save so many kids. You will help so many parents. You, my friend, I'm going to throw so much love at you, as all of the people. All the people in the comments, please, you've got to send Claudia tons of love, because she stepped up. And now we're building a powerhouse full of information.